Hello, family. Hello, family. First Corinthians 13, verse 1 until verse 13. If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and love others, if I give everything I have to the poor and even sacrifice my body, I could boast about it. But if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Love is patient. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and enjoys through every circumstance. Prophecy in speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now our knowledge is partial and incomplete. Even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But when we will see everything with perfect clarity. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know is partial and incomplete. But then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. Three things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So, family, basically, Paul here talks about love. He breaks it down, what it is, and how we should love each other. And I just wanted to basically just talk about some of the things that he talks about here. He says love is patient. Some of us have this tendency of sitting with our partners and telling them what we don't like about them or what we think they could work on. Maybe they say things that offend us, or they have certain habits that we don't like. Let's say this person is 35 and you are, I don't know, 37 if you're a guy, or a lady, I don't know, or you are 32, 31, and your partner is older than you, 35, or you're the same age, it doesn't matter. You're expecting someone who has been doing certain things for the past 35 years to just change in 6 months or 2 years or 2 weeks. Old habits die hard. So you are impatient. That's just one example. You are impatient. With men, most men can relate to this one. You're going to an event. As a man, you are invited. You and your partner are invited to something. Your wife is supposed to come with you, and she's coming with you, but she's doing her makeup and it's taking longer than it should. And you are known to be a punctual person. Maybe you have a speech, you're on the program of that specific event, and your reputation is on the line, and your lady is just taking her sweet time. And you're hooting, but she's not moved. Just remember that love is patient. There's a reason why I believe there's a reason why Paul starts with patience. People who are patient with you show you a sense of understanding, a sense of grace, a sense of kindness, a sense of love. By the time you finally get it, you appreciate them because they were patient enough, to allow you to actually find it and understand it. They become approachable. You become approachable as a patient person. People come to you because they understand that you're not going to be short-tempered, or you're not going to display signs of impatience to them. So that's why it is important to be patient. Look at how God is patient with us. The person that you are today is not the person you were 5-10 years ago. Maybe you lacked understanding when it comes to a lot of things, but now you're a lot better than you were back then in terms of that specific trait. Kindness. I think the pandemic has taught us that we need to be kind to one another. Most of us are going through a lot of things. We have traumas, childhood traumas. We have dysfunctional families. Some have they're in unhappy marriages. Some don't have custody for their children. Some got divorced. Some had miscarriages. Some have family members who are missing. They don't know where they are. Some lost their jobs. Some are in toxic relationships, abusive relationships. Some lost family members that they held dear, or friends, or anybody that they were close to them who's no longer alive. And they're still they're still dealing with, they're still grieving. There's so many things. Some have serious financial problems, they're in debt. Some are sequestrated. Some, they're blacklisted. Some are struggling to conceive. Some are in hospital. There's so many things, and we need to remember to be kind. And for us to remember this, it's simple. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Jesus made it very clear, and he gave a really good example, or a great instruction. Just love your neighbor as you love yourself. After loving God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And if you're struggling to love God, love your neighbor. Start loving your neighbor as you love yourself. It is through loving your neighbor that you will see the greatness and the goodness of God, I believe. So, patience, kindness. It's not jealous. Just know that your time is not someone else's time. Their blessings are not your blessings. God deals with us differently at different times. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, there's a time and season for everything. It is not boastful or proud. The Bible talks about, first there's pride, then there's a fall. So those who are proud, they will fall. So there's nothing good about being proud, because whatever it is that we're getting, these blessings are from God. Trust the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. It is not rude. Some of us are so rude. Some of us are extremely rude. I think this is why also it is important for us to pray for the sins of commission and the sins of omission. There's some sins that we commit. We're well aware that we're committing the sins. We know very well that what we're doing is wrong. But sometimes there's sins that we're not even sure, that we didn't even know that we committed. Like, we're not even aware that we're doing something wrong. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's just pure ignorance. But sometimes, some people will tell you that you were being rude, and you were just not aware that you were being rude. You know what I mean? So just pray against being rude. It does not demand its own way. That's the thing about love. Love is a state of selflessness. And demanding your own way takes away the state of selflessness, because that's when you become selfish, not selfless. So we need to work on that. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. The problem of keeping records of being wronged is that we become passive. We keep things to ourselves, And that's a problem. I think it's best to just address whatever it is that bothers you so that you can get it out of your system and forget. When we say in the Lord's Prayer, we say, forgive us for our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. But why pray that prayer if you don't mean it, if you're harboring grudges and you're not forgiving others? It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth comes out. So sometimes when someone we envy or that someone we are jealous of doesn't get the things that they want, let's say there's a couple that you're jealous of and then you hear they're getting divorced. Sometimes you rejoice over such things because they must suffer like you. They must not be happy like you because you are not happy. That's wrong. Some would even call it witchcraft. So these are the things that we need to pray against. We need to confess to God with our mouths and our hearts, in our own corners, in our own closets, in our own rooms, and say, God, please forgive me for rejoicing in someone else's misfortunes. May that not be me. May that not be my spirit. But you must rejoice whenever the truth wins out. So if someone's truth helps someone else, or the truth sets them free, and there's justice in the process, that would be great. That is amazing. That is something that we should rather look forward to. Love never gives up. Most of us give up very quickly because we know that there's plenty of fish in the sea, or we know that other people you can always meet someone else. It's not just in a relationship, but like even friends, you can always make new friends. You can, we have that mindset, but God doesn't give up on us. And if God doesn't give up on us, who are we to give up on other people? I mean, there are moments where you really try your best, but at the end of the day, things are just not working. I believe that's when you need to just pray to God and say, God, I've tried my best, but maybe I'm doing it from my own strength and my own understanding. I leave it all to you. You lead me, you direct me. But don't force, I don't think you should force things. God doesn't force himself on anybody. But that doesn't mean you should stop loving people. Just don't get taken advantage of, but also remember not to give up and never lose his faith. Continue to have faith. Is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. So there will be circumstances, different circumstances. Things will not be always hunky-dory. It's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes it's going to be tough, but you need to enjoy being hopeful and having faith. Amen and amen.